Hey everyone, you're watching Preppy Kitchen, where I, John Cannell, teach you how to make delicious homemade dishes to share with your family and friends. Today we're making these whoopie pies. It's soft, luscious chocolate cake, sandwiching some Swiss meringue buttercream. They're so easy, delicious, and just irresistible. Let's get started. For these delicious whoopie pies, I'm gonna add in 1 3/4 cups or 210 grams of all-purpose flour into a large bowl that is under a sifter but over a scale. The scale's optional, but I really like using it. 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 2/3 of a cup of a nice cocoa powder. 1/3 and 2/3. You know, I'm trying to be neat in my new kitchen. So sift it out, and we're gonna give it a nice whisk. Set it aside. Now we're gonna cream our butter and sugar up. These are so fast, and they only bake for 9 minutes. What? Before I mix the butter, I'm actually going to make a little soup of my wet ingredients. Look at this beautiful blue egg. Hello, beautiful blue egg. Thank you. Thank you for being a part of this. Let me know in the comments if those really deep orange egg yolks make you happy, or if you like the paler variety. I like the orange ones. All right, 1/4 cup of strong coffee. Coffee makes chocolate wake up and say hello. It makes a big difference. And now our 1/2 cup of buttermilk. Very nice and thick and creamy. And it'll have just a little bit of tang, but more importantly, that acid will wake up the leavening agents and react with them. Just whisk it so it's a nice rough whisk. Set this aside, and now for the butter. I am so excited to try these out. Oh, I love this recipe. It's like, why can't everything be like this? It's like soft and pillowy and perfectly sweet chocolate deliciousness. Okay, 3/4 of a cup of unsalted butter at room temperature into your mixer, fit it with the paddle attachment, if you please. And now let's just cream it up really quick. As soon as it's creamed up, add in 1 cup of sugar, 200 grams. When your butter and sugar are nice and fluffy, just give the bowl like a really quick scrape down. Mix once more. Okay, now we can add our wet and dry mixtures in alternating batches, and let's start with the dry. I will be trying to add this in neatly with a cup. 1 cup of the dry mixture. Mix in. A little bit of the wet. Ooh, it smells really chocolatey and nice. Add the rest of that dried ingredients in there. And take this off. I'm gonna clean this off and we'll be right back. Now that our batter's made, we can plop these onto a baking sheet. I lined mine with a Silpat. Parchment paper is totally fine too. We're gonna maybe like heaping tablespoon size-ish. And these are kind of messy, so don't worry about getting it perfect. I'll show you a trick for rounding them out at the end. And they will open up and spread, so give them some room to grow. I'm so happy to be in the kitchen, I can't tell you. It's like been a total journey. I thought that when we moved to Connecticut that there would be like a little bit of a lag, so I just didn't expect things to take as long as they ended up taking, and it's fine, but I'm just really happy to be back in the kitchen. I did really like all the like sneak peek behind the scenes videos with the animals and everything too, but I mean, Preppy Kitchen has to be in the kitchen sometimes, right? Okay, these look fine. Let's wash my hands. Wash, wash, wash. Washing my hands. Wash, wash, wash. Washing my hands. Shape these out into little circles with your wet fingers. And no one is gonna care if they're not perfect little sandwiches. They're so delicious. They're meant to be rustic. It's not like a French macaron. This first batch is ready to go into the oven. They bake at 375 for 9 minutes, so keep a close eye and set a timer. While those whoopie pies are in the oven, we are gonna whip up some quick and delicious Swiss meringue buttercream. It is my favorite. We have 5 room temperature egg whites in a clean bowl, and we're gonna add in 1 3/4 cups of sugar. Then you can add in a little bit less if you want it to be less sweet, but Swiss meringue buttercream is not the sweetest thing in the world. So we're whisking the sugar into the egg whites, and now we're gonna place it onto a pot of simmering water, making sure the water does not touch the bowl. It's a steam heat that'll bring it to 160. So while the mixture heats up, you don't have to whisk too much, but once it warms, whisk, 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 and then get that temperature with your thermometer set. All right, now it's time for some salt. I could have done this at the beginning, but I forgot. Just whisk it in, it'll be fine. It's getting close to 160. If you're not using a thermometer, totally fine. Just put a finger in, clean, and it should feel hot, no grains, and be sticky like this. There we go, 160. All right, now we're gonna pour this into our clean bowl. Mix it on high. Not cool enough yet, but I wanna show you. This is the magic you're getting now. Look at this. It's gorgeous, oh my gosh. This will stiffen up a little bit and you'll also get a cooler meringue as it keeps mixing. If your meringue is too hot, this will get soupy when you add the butter and it'll cause frustration, but it won't be ruined. This is just above room temperature, but it'll be okay because our butter is already cooling down since it's cold. If you do get a soup, I'm gonna show you what a soupy mess looks like because I get so many messages on this. All right, go back, mix on low. Start adding your butter in a tablespoon at a time. We're adding in 2 cups unsalted room temperature butter. And room temperature butter is, you can press down on it and it'll yield. It's not going to become soupy at the touch, and it's also not gonna be like so hard that you have to force it. So as you add your butter in, you're gonna notice that the meringue deflates. That's because you're adding fat in, and that's, you know, that's basically the enemy of a meringue. So a lot of times people are like, oh no, it's deflating, and they stop adding butter and they just keep mixing, but you can't do that. You just have to keep moving. Or people will try and add a little bit less butter, but you really need that full pound. Also, the best practice is to switch to a paddle attachment. So see here, they're like, oh no, what is this nonsense? It's ruined. It's not ruined, you have to keep going. Okay, keep adding that butter in. I tried to rush it. The meringue was a little bit warm, so this might end up just being soupy. All that means is you're gonna pop it into the fridge for like 5 or 10 minutes and then whip it again, it'll be fine. So don't worry if it's soupy. This last stick is when the magic happens. With the last tablespoon, see what happens. A little soupy, pop it into the fridge. All right, literally 5 minutes in the fridge, and let's give it a quick whip. And I'm gonna add in a tablespoon of a really nice vanilla extract. You don't have to use vanilla. You could use a 1/4 cup of Bailey's, which is amazing. I've done it before. You can add a little bit of bourbon. You could add orange blossom extract, whatever you want, really. It's up to you. Okay. That's what we're looking for. It's come together, it's delicious and silky smooth. We're gonna put this into a piping bag fitted with like a #1 attachment. It's like a large round tip. You could just snip the tip off as well, so it's not a big deal. These whoopie pies are fresh out of the oven, so I'm gonna use a round cookie cutter and just kind of like tap the edges a bit. That's all you have to do if they're a bit kind of like wonky shape-wise. It'll just pull them in. And now when they harden, it'll be a nice rounder, I shouldn't say harden, they'll set. These aren't cookies, they're like little cake sandwiches. So excited, time for assembly. This is the easiest assembly as well. I could just snip the tip off, but since I happen to have a large round tip, why not use it? If you don't have piping bags handy, just smear some buttercream in the middle, it's not a big deal. And this buttercream is very thick because it is cold in here. And once again, this is a plain vanilla Swiss buttercream, but the last time I made these, I added in a full 1/4 cup of Bailey's Irish cream. So delicious. There we go. And now, all we have to do is pipe a thick, delicious layer of buttercream in the middle. And if you want to get inventive, you could put some ganache in the middle, whatever you want to. And then just gently press together. Be delicate though, these are like little chocolate clouds. If you like this recipe, check out my chocolate playlist, all of my favorite chocolate recipes, and it is like choco heaven. All right, it's time for a bite. I'm having heart palpitations, that was so delicious. This is the tenderest most insanely delicious thing I've ever had. You've got to check it out. It's easier than a cake, easier than a cupcake, maybe even more delicious than either. If you like this recipe, hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.